Hi, everybody, and welcome to Final Play Sports Wrap. I'm your host, Pete Lubar, and today we're talking Big 12 basketball March Madness. Last week, Houston won the conference tourney, beating CU, BYU, and Arizona. Very impressive run through the tournament, and looked fantastic doing it. And they are my pick right now to be the national champions. I picked them last year as well, so we'll see if I'm any luckier this year. But let's talk about the Big 12 and what's coming up this week. 7 teams made the tournament, just as I told you would happen. Colorado State stole a bid from West Virginia, but to be fair, West Virginia lost to CU early in the tournament, and you can't lose to one of the worst teams or the worst team in the tournament and expect to make the NCAAs, particularly in the early rounds. So let's talk about the seeds and who they play. Houston's the number 1 seed in the Midwest, and they play Southern Illinois University Edwards. They are favored by 28.5. I don't see any reason why Houston won't cover that spread. Much tougher schedule, much better athletes than SIU. Don't expect an upset there. Iowa State is a 3 seed in the South, and they play versus Lipscomb. Lipscomb was the top seed in the ASUN. They are 25-9 overall, 14-4 for the conference. Their best player is Jacob Ognachevich, and easy for me to say. He is averaging 20.1 points a game. They're a good shooting team. They average 79 points per game. Iowa is without Keyshawn Gilbert, their leading scorer. The spread currently is 14.5. Iowa State obviously favored. We'll talk about my predictions a little bit later in the show. Texas Tech got a 3 seed, and they will be playing in the West. They will be playing UNC Wilmington, who is 27-7. They were 14-4, good for second place in the Colonial. Donovan Newby is their best player at 14.6 points per game. Texas Tech is a 15.5 point favorite, so 15.5 points favorite. And once again, that's an opportunity I see for Texas Tech to cruise into the next round. Arizona is a 4 seed in the East versus Akron out of the MAC. Akron was 17-1, 28-6 for the year. They were the top team. They average 84.6 points per game. They are 8th in the country in 3-point attempts. They are 6th in the country in makes, 3-point makes. So, and they are also one of the best teams at defending the 3. So Arizona's a 13.5 favorite, but wouldn't surprise me if this game was much closer. BYU got a 6 seed in the East versus Virginia Commonwealth out of the A10. Both teams shoot over 27 three-pointers a game, so this should be a high offense game. And VCU is 6th in blocks with 5.5 a game. BYU is favored by 3.5. VCU was 28-6 during the season. They were the top seed in the A10. They were 15-3 in conference. I think this is going to be a really tight game. BYU has been playing so well the last couple of weeks that I think they're probably the favorite, but this could go down right to the wire. Kansas is a 7 seed versus Arkansas, and Arkansas was 20-13. They were 8-10, which was 10th in the SEC. They started the year 12-2. They had some good early parts of the season where they beat Missouri and Mississippi State down the stretch here to make sure they got into the tournament. Kansas was 1-5 in their last 6 away from Allen Fieldhouse. Kansas is installed as a 4.5 point favorite. I don't know about this one. We'll talk about it here in a minute. And Baylor is a 9 seed. They got in and got seeded a little bit higher than Lunardi thought. They thought it was more like a 10. but maybe the way it worked out with not playing teams from your own conference before the Sweet 16 or whatever. But Baylor gets a 9 seed against Mississippi State. Mississippi State was 21-12, 8-10, also tied for 10th in the SEC. Beat Ole Miss and Texas A&M down the stretch to get in. Early in the season, they beat Memphis, they beat Pitt, they beat SMU. Baylor's best win was over Kansas on February 1st, so that's a long time ago. Mississippi State is a 1.5-point favorite. We'll see about this one as well, because Baylor has not played great basketball in the last 3-4 weeks and lost to CU. So we'll see what happens with all this. As I mentioned, West Virginia was left out of the tournament. Once again, their resume is okay. I thought they were on the bubble anyhow. I thought someone like CSU might steal a bid or Boise State might steal a bid. Their resume is not really any better than Boise State. But I think a resume was certainly more deserving than North Carolina, potentially Oklahoma, and potentially Texas. So the SEC got way too many teams. They got 14 teams in out of their 16-team conference. Honestly, if you're going to come in 4 games below 500 in your conference and you're going to come in 14th, you're not going to win a national championship. So quit pretending that you can, and let's have the tournament committee pick teams that were more representative of the top end of their conferences. So that's my opinion on that. My predictions. So here we are for the first games. Houston versus Southern Illinois University. Take Houston and give the points. They're going to win, and they're going to win big. Iowa State versus Lipscomb. And I think ISU is going to win, but I would take the points. I would take Lipscomb and the points. Keyshawn Gilbert, the leading scorer for Iowa State, is out for the tournament. So he will not be there. That means their entire rotation has changed. Things just don't gel all the time when you lose a good player. And it wouldn't surprise me if they cover the 14.5 points. Texas Tech is playing UNC Wilmington. I would say take Tech and give the points. Arizona is playing against Akron. So this is a really interesting game because I think Akron has the firepower to stay with Arizona. Whether they can stop the size and all that, don't know. I would take Arizona to win the game, but I would take the points on Akron. BYU is playing VCU, and I would take BYU and give the points. It's only 4.5. BYU's just played so well the last month and a half that you kind of have to trust them. Kansas, Arkansas. Well, this one's super interesting because Arkansas has kind of been up and down. They started really good for the season, lost 5 in a row in the middle of the season on conference, and now has won a few games down the stretch. Calipari is a great coach. Kansas hasn't really played well away from Allen Fieldhouse. They're 1-5 last 5 games. 1-5 last 5 games. 1-5 last 6 games. You could see Arkansas beating Kansas in a close one. So for me, I'm going to take Kansas and the money line. And then the final game is Baylor at Mississippi State. For me, I see Mississippi State winning and covering the 1.5, but I would take Mississippi State and the money line. So that's my update. I hope you appreciated this, and please subscribe to my YouTube page. If you need to reach me, maybe you want to sponsor a segment, you can certainly do that. You can reach me at the information which follows this video. Thanks, and have a great day.